Mexican Americans who come over here looking for work, I commend you. I think that these children coming across the border, they need our help. This country was founded on helping people realize their true potential, as opposed to having one strong arm holding everybody down by the throat. Now, right now, what we have is the Republican Party trying to tell us we need to go to war because all it's going to do is distract us from our real issues here at home. But the first thing we need to do for any other country that we help, any country that needs help, Mexico is hurting us, not by the people that are coming here, but by the wage that they perform the same tasks at. Why can't we go to Mexico and tell them, you need to raise the wage you pay your employees and keep your cost of living the same? They can't raise the price on everything, but they need to pay their people more. Their people should be able to prosper. They should be able to gain a good amount of equity through working hard, and then they could raise the price a little bit on things once people establish a good line of credit and a good line of income in Mexico. The Mexicans, the Latinos, the Hondurans, all these people that are coming over here thinking that it's going to be so great when they get here, you don't realize that the more of you come here, the less that they want to pay us because you guys are going to do it for less because you used to do it down there for $1 a day. So you're cool with making $50 a day here when really you should be able to come here and make $150 a day, and you should be able to make that in your country. You make the same things that we used to make here for a higher dollar amount. They're the same price that they sell here, but for a less cost amount down there. It's not fair. If you heard my other video about Conneaut Leather, yeah, Conneaut Leather only has about 30 hourly employees. They spend about $1 million a year in paying their employees. And that is part of the 78 to 85 cent cost that it takes to make everything happen, to make all their money. But then at the end of the year, when they make $15 million, they make $10 to $15 million in the end of the year. They've already said it to their employees in a meeting. What kind of company comes out to their employees that they pay $10 an hour to and tells them they make $1 million a month? This month we had a record month, they said. It was almost double of what we usually do. So it was almost $2 million in a month. Did everybody get a bonus? No, they bought you a t-shirt that said, "Holy cow, we did it." They didn't even let any of the employees choose what they were going to get on the t-shirt. They just asked you what size you wanted, and then they had people in the office that have only even been there for but like 6 months get to choose that the shirt was going to say, "Holy cow, we did it." Why couldn't it have said like, "We can't hide our pride," or "We make so much cash off these hides that we kill our employees"? Why couldn't my shirt have said, "I work for an employer that makes money off my back and thinks that it's fair, that I'm getting what I deserve"? But really, and then I have a friend at work who says, "Well, this company started without us, before us, bro. They don't need us. They can get anybody else to come in here." That's where these motherfucking Americans are mistaken. These companies were built on our backs, and they were only built on our backs because we had to. If you could have had a garden at home making fucking steak and potatoes, you wouldn't need to work for your food. You wouldn't need to work for your place to live. And if it weren't for America having this tax, property tax, that's supposed to be unconstitutional, look into that, people. People who work for the IRS that quit the IRS and don't even pay taxes anymore, check that out. Or how about the property tax that people owe property taxes and they don't pay it and they're still fighting in the Supreme Court? It's all over the news all the time, but it's in the fine print. We got to remember that these taxes, some of this money in the government is going to the Cayman Islands. New Jersey they got $1 million from Mark Zuckerberg, the creator of Facebook, to help the school systems there. And then all of a sudden they're closing schools in New Jersey. They don't really talk about that on the news that much, do they? But then all this politician money, who is the country in debt to? Who is the world in debt? China's in debt. Everybody's in debt. Russia's in debt. Everybody's in debt. But who do we owe? Is it the Rothschilds, the famous family that supposedly their big goal in life is to put their brains in a machine that can fly across the universe and they could go and scour the universe for control and more power and live forever in a machine? And now we got this movie coming out, Lucy, where the brain is expanding, and we just had this pill come out too that makes your brain smarter supposedly. All this shit corresponding with itself. Then they come out and say that all the James Bond gadgets are real. All the James Bond movie gadgets aren't fake. They were all based on real things that were already in use in the military and in private use for certain sectors of the government. So you're telling me they got a little laser watch that they can shoot at somebody? What's up with all these birds dying in this one place too? You know, I'm watching the news all the time and I'm seeing how they just want to talk about Russia and the war in Russia and are we going to do something over there? What's going to happen? Obama's a jerk. But really, we got all these people that don't have no work. And all the jobs have been and are still going overseas because the EPA regulations in America cost too much on these companies. These companies are having to pay too many fines. So why they go to China? Because the EPA in China basically doesn't exist. Then don't play yourself because it don't. And then in Mexico too, the same thing. They don't tan leather in America no more because it's too hazardous and poisonous to the ground. It's been proven there's no way to get around it. They've got a vegetable oil now they tan leather with that's supposed to be safer. But let me tell you, it probably ain't. And now, so we got all this stuff in Mexico. It's still being done. It's just being done in Mexico. So they're just pumping it in the water. And they've already said that our water has mercury levels now. Everything in the earth, everything in the world has mercury levels now. But we don't talk about that. Global warming's not real, and we're not polluting the world. It's all going to happen eventually. That's what they say. I think we're killing ourselves. We're dying. We should have been on solar power years ago. They already said we would have been in the 50s and in the 30s. They were writing books about the future, thinking that it was going to be on a grand scale by now. And we could, by all means. They said they've been holding technology back. This iPhone technology and some of this stuff that's coming out now, they said we've had that since the late 80s. And the early 80s, computer technology was way advanced, and they let us believe it was. So is that fair? Is that fair that we work for less and we deserve more, but we get less because they don't want to give us the best stuff right now because it's not profitable for them? That's why we've been driving these cars. People don't realize too, the freeways, when freeways were first built, they were built by free labor, by prisoners from prisons. And now it's called Unicor. Unicor, it's a job prison. It's where prisons get paid for their prisoners to do jobs. They work in leather, they do furniture stuff, they do everything. They make license plates. I mean, prisoners are basically taking jobs out of our pocket, and that's why they keep putting these people in prison. Misdemeanors, whatever. They put you in prison, they make you free labor, and it's a business. It is a business. But we need to cut down on all the bad things that are going on in this world. If everybody stood up and stopped buying gas, everybody should. That we should all pick a day and not go and buy gas. And then take that day, though. Pick a day, buy all the gas you need for a week, and buy your food. Go grocery shopping. Yeah, we're going to have a big spike in the economy for that one day. But for the rest of the week, if nobody buys anything, people don't realize what that would hurt, and we control it. We control it. We need to sit back and control it. If you guys want to listen to me and hear more of me, man, just come on and keep popping on with some comments and stuff. I go through this with my phone. I got a little crappy phone because I don't make no money. And I've been thinking about this for a long time. I'm 27 years old. I've been putting in work since I was 13 years old on farms, working for 8 cents for a bale of hay. 8 cents per bale, and I had to touch each bale 2-3 times sometimes. And there was little kids working with me that were family members of the farmer that were making the same amount as me, and I'm trying to be like, you know, okay, it's fair, it's whatever. They're family. They should get paid just to be related to that person. No, that's not freaking right. You get paid for what you do. You watch some of these old-timer Western shows and the little boy and the dad on the rifleman or whatever, and you earn what you work for, boy. He said, I don't care. You got to earn it. You go out there and you sweat and you toil, and you'll get your food for the day, your steak and potato. But you know what? Everybody deserves a little extra, too. Everybody should be making about $35,000 a year at the minimum. And they say the average wage for people in New Jersey for an annual salary is $77,000 a year, but in Kentucky it's only $42,000 a year. Oh, but the cost of living is so different. But in Ohio, the minimum wage is like $7.85 now, but at my work it still shows a piece of paper on the board saying $7.25. Now I know that ain't right. I'm pretty sure it's up to like $7.85 now in Ohio, but it's $12.55 in California. Oh, but milk and everything and cigarettes is so much more expensive. No, listen, everything isn't that far-fetched expensive. They charge a little more for rent, but like milk and some of that other stuff is still around about the same. You're not getting killed on every single thing. So they do have extra money in California, and they put it where they put it. Okay, the fact that Ohio has less stuff to do is why we get paid less. Not because things cost less, it's because there's less amusement parks. Look at all the shit in California they have to do for fun. Yeah, they have to give their employees more money so they can go and enjoy everything. I come home every day in Ohio and I do nothing because I can't afford to go nowhere. I can't afford to do it. I can't afford to scrape no money together. My car breaks down, I got to have money for that, but I can't even save money for that. So it goes to show that we're all working fucking hard and we're getting nothing for it. And all we're doing is struggling and struggling until they say that we're not struggling. But we have to stand up and get a higher wage. People at McDonald's need to not go in. People at McDonald's, Burger King, Subway, y'all need to not go to work. I wish I could just not go to work and get the 30 people at my job to not come in for a whole week. They would all get more money. They don't realize it. If we all stood together, we would get more money. But if we even talk about union at our shop, we get fired. You even talk about union at our shop, we get fired. Some of these southern